Hello everybody, welcome back as ever to Building Blocks, where we program Minecraft mods live on camera, and things go boom quite frequently. And today we are continuing to work on the archfey. We're trying to get those running nice and smooth as visually interesting and especially functionally interesting creatures that you can find just sort of dropped into your world as sort of like ready to go out of the box NPCs and such. We'll be doing other things like that down the road, but for right now, these are the guys that you're going to be looking at for getting your Warlock Pact started, and we need to figure out something that they can do that people who aren't interested in the Warlock Pacts might still want to see them out for. So, let's quickly refresh, because I didn't stream it a little bit, so yeah, probably worth showing off again. So currently we have the two, and they are... Anytime now, thank you, yes. And there they are, okay. And they even picked the right, oh, hello. Good to meet you, yes, this is the Kirin. The Kirin is the archfey of trees and thunder, and you can kind of get that impression. They chiefly reside inside of forests, and they have minions known as lightlings, like that one, who will typically try to follow them around, and otherwise the Kirin just sort of enjoys the scenery and as such. And then we have the significantly more nefarious, or suspicious at the very least, voted most likely to be flushed out of an airlock in Among Us kind of thing, and they reside in a custom biome that's much more decrepit, forest-like still, but very inhospitable and unwelcoming. The reason being they were sealed there by the Kirin a long time ago. But they also can start, like, both of these guys have pacts associated with them, and this one ultimately results in the release of their minions, the Changelings, who are, basically a hive of imitators and as such. But, yeah, so, currently, the main thing that they'll do is murder your face if you try and hurt them, and otherwise, if you right-click on them, they will give you an item that will start their Warlock Pact, which is fine, except that that means there's currently only one possible reason for why you would seek them out, and that's not so great if, for instance, you happen to be someone that's not interested in having a Warlock Pact. So, today we're going to be adding something for everybody else, as it were, and I don't know that I necessarily want to add something that means you guaranteed want to go and see them. I feel like you should be able to go through your entire run without really having any major reason to go and see them. But we want to try and make it as inclusive as possible, because otherwise why include them at all? Oh yes, and over the course of last week I was also working on these, which are brambles, and these are solely created by, let's see, Wall of Thorns, where are you? There, okay. These are solely created by this spell. It is a level 5 conjuration spell. You can barely see that because it's kind of on my screen. Hang on, let me just shuffle that over here for you guys. Casting time 1 second, range 58 meters, duration an hour and a half, but you can dismiss it. Creates a temporary barrier of painful thorns. Basically, are these. And if I just plonk them there, so these will slow you down if you try and go through them, and basically you can consider this to be like cobweb meets sweetberry bush, in that they will hurt you as you are going through them unless you don't move, and they also slow you considerably. So a decent combination of things, and it means that you can not necessarily outright prevent somebody from coming through them, but you will definitely cause some damage and deter them from doing so. And of course, dismissible. I need to figure out a better model for these, because as you can see, they more or less just go in the cardinal directions right now. And I do like the twisting kind of like aspect to them, But yeah, you can very clearly get like the square vision of them. It's not hard to see that, and I don't like that so much. I feel like it should be more tangled and hard to see through, that sort of thing. But, anyways, on to the matters of the day. So, I had a pair of polls go out just earlier today, and here they are. So, quick question for Minecraft folks: how often do you actually break an item, such as armor or tools, be it a sword or a pickaxe or what have you, either in vanilla or modded? Now, I'm not going to say that this is representative of the entire Minecraft community, because Lord knows I don't have that kind of reach, in real life or otherwise. And we got 29 votes, and of those, nearly half said occasionally, but also nearly a third said all of the time. Only 6.9% said never, nice for them, and 17.2% said only by accident. Now, armor can break for any number of reasons. Generally speaking, I don't tend to break very many things because I put mending on anything I can get my hands on, pretty much. So, there's that. And obviously any version of Various Oddities is going to have mending involved because it's already 112 anyways. But, corollary. If you could trade a diamond block to get back a random item you broke recently, would that be worthwhile versus just simply making the whole thing again from scratch? To which the result was pretty overwhelmingly, depending on the item. Obviously, an iron pick for like a diamond block, even if it's got really wonderful enchantments on it, is probably not worth it. But say an iron chest plate with like 5 different enchantments on it, including mending, probably a bit more interesting. And there are things in Various Oddities that will directly attack the armor, like the durability of your items. Acid, for instance, will wear away your items much faster than it wears away at you until there isn't anything to wear away at. And the Uber Veteran's melee attack is another example in that it will deliberately do a lot of durability damage to items you're wearing, assuming it can't just rip them straight off of you. So, you might be wondering exactly why was I asking these very specific and pointed questions. And the answer to that is I came up with an idea for why you might want to go and see an archfey, which was, mayhaps you offer the archfey something shiny, or valuable wealth, something gaudy and whatnot, sufficiently bling, and they will use their unimaginable power to reclaim an item that has been lost to you, allowing you to, for instance, recover an armor piece that was destroyed in a boss fight, for instance, or a pickaxe that you accidentally missed what the remaining durability was and like broke it entirely off of on a diamond ore or something. Or maybe you just got really unlucky and your Draconic Evolution armor or whatever has just been like utterly destroyed, and a diamond block is a really sweet trade for that if you can get it. So that's the kind of option that we're going to be giving the archfey, so that they are a significantly valuable, not necessarily common, but a valuable nonetheless kind of trader, as it were, for items that you've already had for relatively cheap. A single diamond block is not asking very much. We're going to be adding some little flavor to that, but let's get to work on it today. So the first thing that we need to do is actually distinguish between starting up that interaction and getting the packed starting item. For that purpose, let's see, Bob's Podcast or Oddity, yes, so we want to be going to here where we actually have the item being given. Yep, packed patron, there you are. So let's see, process interact, there we are. So when we do that, we want to actually open a UI screen. Fairly simple, we've got examples of that already. So the most obvious one I could think of would be the limb trader. Is it limb trader? Limb merchant, there we are. So process interact right there. We just go through that. We'll start with the witch because why wouldn't we want to? Okay, we don't want to let them name tag. That's just, no, that's not gonna work. Let's see, this is related to our factions, which we're not really heavily interested in here either. Okay. Let's see, we need the set customer and open GUI. So with that, we'll currently just leave it as limb merchant for the time being, just because it'll be fine, more or less. And set customer is used so that the mob will constantly look at the player that's actually trading with. I don't know that that's necessarily 100% necessary, except that it'll be a useful metric for preventing the archfey from moving away. So that's kind of a useful thing nonetheless. And oh yes, Carol is back as ever. So yeah, this is gonna be an interesting mechanic. I don't know that there's a mechanic like this basically in any other mod. Which is always the best kind of thing to add to your mod. Buying player, not trading. Oh yeah, I know what that's about. That's where we're not. I remember what this is for. That's to prevent them from just gobbling up a whole ton of items. That's why it's complaining right now. Okay. Let's see. Not trading. Fine. Yes. And player is not sneaking. I don't know that necessarily matters to the archfey, but they're gonna notice you one way or the other. Okay. So that should open up a UI. Well, what it should actually do is cause an error, because we'll be giving it a UI that requires a trader, and it's not going to have a trader. But let's just quickly check that, because hey, things going boom is entertaining on the internet. I know a lot of people use these streams as like background noise, rather than like coding explanation or education or such, but do let me know. It's like how detailed do I need to be with this programming that I do? Like, do I need to explain to you what like a conditional loop is, or is it fine for me to not do that? Yep, there we go. Good. Well, bad, but the fact that that happened means that we are doing that properly. Okay. Public static final int GUI. We have two different archfey. They're not both, well, they are both packed patrons, but not all archfey are necessarily packed patrons. So let's call it GUI patron witch. It's our 25th. You love hearing about what does what when it comes to code, like how stuff works together and all. Fair, fair. Packed start and patron witch, there you are. Okay. So now we just check where that's grabbed, and then we can go to GUI handler. So way down here. Oh, not quite. Long line. There we go. Okay, so reference.gui.gui patron witch. just get that for the time being, and let's see, where are you? Where's the merchant gone? There you are. So there's a few values we're going to want for this, because we're going to need the player to have access to their inventory, which means we're going to need a container, and we're going to need a slot inside of the inventory to actually put the item that we want to get our items back with. And we're going to want 2 buttons, one to like get whatever the item is, and one to do the other thing, which is start a pact. So we would need a container and a actual UI here. So we want GUI patron witch and container patron witch. Being very careful not to call it GUI witch or container witch, because that could get very confusing, because then there's actual witches. So, okay. Which I think was the best thing to grab from here. GUI sleeps perfectly fine. God, I must have shown the sleeping visuals inside of and then it was entity patron witch. And was that world? Yes, a world. Actually, GUI merchant is honestly probably the best idea. Come to think of it. I think it defaults to 1 though, so. Let's see, let's get rid of those. Get rid of that entire thing, really. That's fine. Don't need to care about inert. Don't need to render a skybox or draw a panorama. Yeah, I went through the code and I made it so that when you are asleep, by like virtue of a status effect, it shows the panoramas of the title screen, which is an interesting concept when you think about it. That presumably means that your player on the title screen is just snoozing away. UIs are always such a bit of a pain. Okay, inventory. Container, patron witch. In stasis, waiting to be awoken and given purpose by a player, yeah. Okay, let's just leave that as it is for this exact moment. What is your complaint? Undefined, okay. Oh, because I need to just give the container, that's why. I forget that merchant trading is its own thing. Okay. So now, if we right click, what we should get is essentially just a frozen screen. But if we hit escape, we'll then be able to go back to doing everything else. And that will tell us that we've actually got a UI working. So how's everybody's week been so far? Doing okay? I have been watching The Numbers, TM, and it's not fucking grand. Okay. Are you two talking to me both, or are you actually just like having a conversation with yourselves? Okay, so if I right click here, we have our mouse cursor. We can't do anything with it, but that means that we're in an inventory screen. Or, well, it means that we're in a UI. Hit escape, and back. Apparently, I can only do that once. That's interesting. Very curious. I don't know what's doing that. Been sleepy all week so far? Oh. Filled with various doctor's appointments, but pretty good all things considered. Ooh. Well, I hope you all feel better soon. Okay. Let's start by adding a thing to the screen that actually lets us know a bit clearer that we're in a screen. We don't need that, we do need this. Is that the foreground layer? Yes. So we're just going to borrow a bunch of code from our limb again, because it's there, we might as well use it. Okay, all good. Just to get anything we're not using at this exact moment, so we don't get too cluttered. Ah, right, of course, one of those it mandates whether we do anything with it or not. Too kind? Yeah, it's my one weakness. Well, it's one of my numerous weaknesses. Okay. I did get a question on the actual mod page for this as to whether or not we would be seeing this in a version more recent than 1.12, and the answer is absolutely yes. We just need to finish the one for 112 first, pretty much. Okay, good. That's a good start. Can I re-enter? No, that's interesting. I wonder why we can't go back in. That's very odd. Okay, let's... I'm trying to think what's the best way to check out for this. Trying to see if there's something in here that I have specifically somehow hecked up and forgotten about. Not that I'm seeing. A very strange bug indeed. Perhaps it's part of the container and I've somehow forgotten a thing that's rather important. Let's find out. Nope, doesn't seem like that. Although having this would probably be a good start. Ah! That's why we can't, that's why it's doing that. Okay, I've just realized. So, as long as one person is talking to a merchant or such, no one else can because they're actively in trading mode. But because we're setting that when it opens with the witch, but we're not actually unsetting that, it's... Okay, yeah, that's good. We found the bug and it did not require 5 hours of testing. It's always the best. It's always the best outcome. Let's see, slot count, there we go. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so now we should actually be able to close it and reopen it. Okay, so yep, good. And a no, we still can't. Okay, that's interesting. Presumably, there's no on container closed inside of our GUI where there should be one. Let's find out. I virtually guarantee that that's what's causing that. Okay, on container closed is called by on GUI closed. Okay. Which is itself part of GUI container, which the patron which one is an extension of. I was so certain that was the thing. Let's see, is alive, is not trading. And that does get called by that container. That should all be fine. Okay. Well, let's put a sys out in here. So we'll be fine. Currently, of course, there is no inventory. There is nothing stored in that inventory. There is no slots of your inventory that are revealed and displayed or whatnot. This is just a blank screen to let us know that anything is happening. Because UIs can be quite fiddly occasionally. Okay, set to player 124. Set to null, set to null. Okay, well, it's decided it wants to work for some reason. So our next thing is to prevent the witch from wandering about. Ah yes, the age-old quandary of any kind of programming. It doesn't work, I have no idea why. It works, I have no idea why. Okay, so if we go to anti-limb merchant, we can see merchant trade player and merchant look at trade player. These are two distinct tasks, but they basically do the same thing. So, trade player pretty much just makes sure that they're within a certain range of the player, and otherwise they just don't move. And trade with player. Where are you? There you are. Or look at trade player. Even easier, honestly. So, theoretically we can fold these into just one generic. I honestly don't know why they're two separates. They're based on, like, specific tasks. So, entity, AI, look. Because these are separate classes, we can't actually use a generic for this, because we can't, unless we make it on archfey, we can't know who the customer is. So which look at customer. Okay, and then we just add that to the witch. And let's add this to the passive controller. And then we need something very similar to this. So that we can make sure the witch doesn't wander off while they're ostensibly in a bidding war, as it were. Let's see, which shouldn't be an instance of iMerchants, that's for sure. Nope. So that will never occur. Now there are some obvious caveats that we want to put in here. Namely, that when villagers and traders and whatnot are in the middle of trading, they don't actually, like, stop in the case of their being under attack, for instance. We obviously want to make that be not the case. But I don't... Let's see, should... Okay, if it's not alive, or... get attack target does not equal null, or revenge target does not equal null. Which will mean it'll stop doing that in that event. And now there's fireworks going off for who knows what reason. Okay. Controllers, by the way, are if you're not familiar with controllers, a controller is basically a cluster of AI behaviors that get plugged in and out based on different conditions. In the case of this one, it's just stuff that the witch is doing whenever they're not presently, like, trying to attack somebody. So all of this stuff shuts off as soon as they are in combat. It's a very straightforward and easy way of ensuring that we only do certain stuff under the circumstances. It's also a very easy way of making very specialized kind of creatures, because we can just make one creature and give it different controllers. It is not something that is in Minecraft Vanilla, annoyingly. Even in 1.16. If it was something that was in vanilla, just as an example, you could have your player be whatever you like, and you could control, like, any given mob very easily. Want to play as an Ender Dragon? Just take your player controller and attach that to an Ender Dragon mob. Job done. Can't do that, however. Because it's a fairly specialized thing, I guess. It's not something you generally tend to build on the ground floor of, but... you know, it's helpful to know. Okay, you are ostensibly looking at me, because you're doing your introduction thing. Could you come off the command block, please? Just by the by. Thank you. Okay. And if I stay here long enough, will you not walk away? Will you walk away if I stop? The archfey are fairly clever, by the way. If you haven't been following their development, they have a couple of special AI behaviors for just like appearing to be intelligent and aware of the world. So they will occasionally look at wherever your cursor is pointing instead of just at you, and they will, as noted over there, they will occasionally admire specific blocks in their vicinity. So the Kirin likes to look at trees and plants and such. You're staring at me a lot, and I'm guessing that's because your thing hasn't finished. No? You stopped looking at me for a hot second there. Yeah, that feels like you're stuck in your AI. Okay. Feels like that loop, that function hasn't concluded. So let's see if we can find why that might be. Let's see, that just executes by virtue of that. There's not actually a true in here, which trade player shouldn't actually ever be executing. That's interesting. Those elections really add to the liveliness of the mobs. Yeah, it gives them, like, they're meant to be intelligent, more so than most, so it gives them a significant, like, boost in the sense that they're aware of their environment, which is not something that most mobs have, because they just look around wildly and nobody really gives a second thought to it. But the second that they're looking where you're pointed, and following where your cursor is, so if they're dead, if they're in water, if they're not on the ground, if their velocity's changed, if they've got an attack target or a revenge target, all of that, and then there's that. Okay. That's curious. I wonder why they weren't wandering. Like I said, there wasn't a true in that mesh anywhere. There is a true here, which is trading. Look at customer. And actually, no, it's extending our watch closest, so that shouldn't have a problem there. But let's modify should continue executing. Look time is private value. That's annoying. Okay, that does not get reset, so that should all be good. What is your problem? Ah. There. Okay. So now, should actually work a bit better. So we'll set the interaction map when people try to grab the packed part, and otherwise you can trade your items for trade your lost items for diamond blocks as frequently as you like. We will be adding some caveats to that though, because being able to break your tools willy-nilly and getting, like, all of your good armor just blasted to Kingdom Come out as frequently as you like, and then just being able to trade a single diamond block to get it all back. Oh, no, 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 no. We can't have you be trading stuff with the archfey and there not being a consequence. No, no, no. Oh yeah, I don't know how well you guys can hear that, but the default noises for an oddity that hasn't been given custom sounds yet is Vex noises. If I go way out here, are you going to keep following me? Seems it. Nope, you've stopped looking at me. Are you going to wander now? Please tell me that you can still wander. Yes, good. Right. They feel very much like they're spending a lot of time looking at me. There may be a bug there. I'm not sure. That might just be because they don't have much else to look at around here. But I will keep an eye on them, like, during the break. And I'll be back in about 10 minutes, everybody. So, see you then. I'll just move these guys, because why not?
I don't know what y'all think, but I think that's pretty.
Welcome back, everybody. Hope you had a nice little break there, and indeed it would seem the witch has moved and transmogrified into a fox. So, yeah, I think they are actually able to do stuff, they're just not doing it very much, which is fine. That's whatever, really. So, just while we were off air, well, we were on break to be more exact, I was working over the actual UI, so we should now have a pair of buttons, one that says bargain and one that says entreat, and one of those starts the actual pact, the other one actually like does the special thing that we're going to be doing today, and I have ported over most of the code from Patron Witch into here, so we shouldn't need that anymore. You'll just right click on the witch and it'll give you these two buttons and you'll be able to do that. So let's give that a shot. I'm not 100% on whether that'll work, but we'll see. It's always good to test things as you go, where possible. Obviously with really big code bases, the refactoring takes so much time. So much. But on the other hand, you don't really want to spend like several hours refactoring something and then only for it to then immediately break from like 5 different things, so... Compiling, that's the word, not refactoring. So, essentially we have this code here, the interaction timer, which is a map of players to the last time they received a packed starting item from the archfey in question, and it just basically means that you can't just like fill your inventory with them. There's not really a massive need for that, considering they're bound to you anyways, but it's just to make it not like every single dang time. So that now gets set via a button, which should hopefully mean it works. We'll see. So hey there, if I right click, we have entreat and bargain. These are not translated names yet, they're just there. Bargain is the packed starting one. So we now have our deviled egg, and that has grayed out. And it will stay that way for an hour. So if I exit out of that and re-enter, good, that's exactly what we want to see. And if we click this one, nothing happens, because we haven't set that to do anything yet. I do think that we should close the window when we do that, but that's good. Good to see that that works. If you unload the chunk and come back, it'll reset the hour timer, but that at least is significantly enough hassle for me to think that people aren't going to abuse it. So let's see, GUI, Patron Witch, they are. So we do that, and then we want to close the screen. So we'll make that a thing because I'm doing it a bunch of times. Also added handling up here so that the screen will close as well if the witch comes under attack. There we go. Okay. So now that we've gotten the old stuff going, now we need the new stuff. So let's start by just having the button give you an item. And instead of the pack starter item, let's make it something else. Let's make it, say, a diamond hoe. Why not? I don't know why you'd be doing this. Let's say it's a really nice diamond hoe. It's autographed. Yeah. Because we all know that the witch is the #1 hoe in Minecraft. Okay, so now when we click the right button, it should grey out, close the screen, and we should get an egg, a deviled egg to be exact. If we click the left button, the screen should stay open, but we'll receive a diamond hoe. So, yep, egg, good. Get rid of those, I think. And left, diamond hoe, diamond hoe, diamond hoe, diamond hoe. Yep, good. Which is now the premier source of diamond hoes. Good. Okay. Now we need a list of items to potentially give back. And for that, we're going to need to go to our player data. So here's all of the details that we currently have present for players. This ranges from their adventurer's journal, which tells them what mob types, what creature types different mobs have. It gives us their spell list, if they happen to have any spells in their spell list, their caster level for what spells they can actually craft and whatnot, and cast, and how dangerous they are when they're cast, that sort of thing, and as well as their reputation and their pact. So we need to add a list of item stacks into here. So, we can make this an array, or we can make this a list. An array is fine, really, if we want it to just be a set length. And how many items we allow them to actually remember in this fashion will determine essentially how powerful versus useless this is, because it will select randomly from the list. So, in the case of most plays, for instance, if we said the number was 5, then that's an entire armor set plus 1 tool, say a sword or something. I don't know how you manage to break all of your armor and your sword at once, but let's say you do somehow. That's decently useful. If you give them a diamond block and you get any of those items back, it's useful. If instead it's like 15, and it goes back to like the shoddy iron helmet that you picked up off of a mob like 2 months ago in your gameplay, it's not quite so useful. But there's just that to bear in mind. On the other hand, though, if we keep it very short, then in a circumstance where one thing might break, there's a circumstance that another thing is just as likely to break as well. So you could easily override it and boom, it's gone forever. You'll never ever see it at all, as opposed to just having a short chance of it. So I'm gonna set this to about 8, I think, as being our top list. So private list item stack. What should we call it? Broken items. Doesn't, strictly speaking, need to be an array list, but we'll make it one. Okay, so we want to add them, and we want to get a list back of them. Let's make it. Okay, so let's see if this dot broken items dot size is lower than 8. 8's a nice number. Then this dot broken items dot add stack. Let's make that a copy as well. Else this dot broken items dot remove index 0. I can make this cleaner. If you can do it with fewer lines, you might as well. Okay. And then we want to actually store that in data. So we want the read and write to actually factor this in. So we don't need NB tag list. Okay, and then compound, set tag. There. I'll just rename that to something a little more distinct, so items broken. There. So, that means that when you break an item, we can actually register it, we can store it in your player data so that we can know later on that it's something that the archfey can give you. And then we just come down here and we tag a list items equals get tag a list broken items 8, which is a compound tag. See this dot broken items dot add item stack. Should be able to just read that from an MBT. I think. Oh no, it's item stack helper. That's the one I'm thinking of. Can I just do load? I know there's one for MBT, and I can't for the life remember what it is. Is there an item utils I'm thinking of? No. New item stack MB tag. Okay. I was right the first time. It's probably just that we don't have item stack in here. Nope. It's just decided to work. Okay, fine. Okay, just to add that, so we don't crash anything older. And let's just add that caveat as well, so that we don't even add that tag anyway if you haven't broken anything ever. Okay. So now, just so we know this is working at all, we need to just get ourselves a random item. So, switch rand next int for case 0 item equals, say diamond hoe again. Let's have diamond axe in that mix. Diamond leggings, why not? And the last one. Diamond helmets, because I like diamond helmets. I'm actually in a weird situation with World of Madness, because now we have Netherite, but I don't actually like the look of Netherite over diamonds, so I'm probably not going to use Netherite pretty much ever. Okay. So now we have a system to store up to 8 items that you've broken in your player data. We're not doing that yet, but it's there. And we have a system to get a random item from your player data. So now we need to actually get your player data so that we can ask it for a random item stack and do the thing. And the starter for that should be GUI inscribing. Because here we get your player data to find out what your spell level, what your caster level is. Use for Chromatic Flare, more than anything else, we will use the Witch's RNG for that rather than yours. Okay. So now, when we click that button, we should get a random item. Not just Diamond Toes over and over. Now, question for the chat. When you get an item back from the archfey in this manner, what durability should it have? Should it have only the one durability and it's up to you to repair it? Or should it have like a random amount of durability? Or should it be back to full? What do you think? I feel like it being beat up maybe like signifies a bit more that it's used or whatnot, though it's weary, lost to the ether and whatnot, or maybe like it should be full and it's been completely restored. Okay, in treats, hoe, helmets, axe, hoe, leggings. Yep, good. Okay. We got all of this stuff. And I'm just going to plop my hat on. Okay. How much do you pay for it? You pay 1 diamond block. I haven't decided yet as to whether or not anything else is used. But a diamond block seemed accessible and a meaningful value, but also in modded it's like nothing, but there is like a downside. Amount equal to the remaining required to level up. I'm not 100% certain I follow you there, Error. Remaining required to level up. What do you mean? Half durability, says Dusty. A diamond block might be a lot for 1 durability. Let's see, item back, random durability. Yeah, that's a good point. Could be that we actually have a variety of things you can offer, and the more valuable the thing, the greater the durability you get back. But it's a randomly selected item as well, so you might nonetheless get a really high durability iron helmet when you were aiming for your diamond sword or something. Or your infinity bow or some such. XP bar is at 45%, the iron durability is 55. That's an idea, but it's also very manipulable, and the idea here is that the archfey are giving you back something of significant value for relatively cheap, but it's very much on their... It's on their determinings what you get. But okay, right. I don't think we need archfey open anymore. Don't need the limb merchant open. Don't need the player data or the ink table. Okay. Ideas. Yeah, like the point here is that you're giving them something and they're definitely going to give you something back, but it's entirely like you're rolling the dice a lot, because archfey are, even the good ones are never to be trusted fully. They're not. They don't exist on mortal values. Needs to be a bit douchey. Oh yeah, exactly. Fey creatures, especially archfey, delight in toying with mortals, so... Okay. Now that we've gotten that, let's actually hook this up to our list here. Okay, so that just returns a random item from that list. We also want to actually remove that item. So, int index equals rand, next int broken items dot size. If this dot broken items dot is empty, then return item stack dot empty. And then item stack equals this dot broken items dot get index, and this dot broken items dot remove index. And just for good measure, let's make that a copy. Minecraft keeps things a little weird with item stacks in particular. Could it be a random durability, but one you don't know until you actually use it? So if it's at 1, you won't know it is 1 until you use it, and which it then immediately breaks. We can set the tag to hide the durability, but we can't set the tag to hide durability until it gets used. Not without getting very finicky. Although I like the leaves into gold coins kind of idea of that. That's an interesting one. Okay, so stack set item damage. Let's see. Let's figure out what that damage should be. Let's say half. There. Okay. So, in this way, it's 50% to 100%, but you never know which. We could make that lower, make it 0.3, 0.65, in which case 65 is the random part, but it's always at least 35% of its max durability. Just because if you go through this trouble and you get it randomly selected, then you want it to actually be, like, usable. If it's spending, of course, you can just repair that up with XP anyways. Let's add an integer value here, just for later, more than anything else. I'm just going to add an integer here called inclination, which we can potentially use down the road to say, well, you've given me a diamond block, I'll give you like 35% of the durability. You've given me a nether star, I'll give you like maybe 60. That sort of thing. Can the durability be made to randomly change every few ticks until it's used? Not easily, at the very least. There's things we can do with enchantments, but in order to have them stop doing that, we would need to just, like, take them off. Like, have the enchantment itself go away, and that's a little hard. Or rather, it's a little bit taxing, a little bit, it's a bit fiddly. Okay, so now we're hooking into the list. We should check as well, get ourselves a boolean asking, do we have any? What do you get for cake and cookies? I mean, if you're talking to an archfey of food, probably quite a bit. Cake especially, because cake is a notorious pain to craft for how little you get out of it. the player will necessarily know that they have broken items currently. Should be fine. Okay. So now when I go in there, only the packed button should be visible because I have no broken items on file because we have no broken items actually being added just yet. I don't know what an archfey of food will be like, but we can certainly have one. The trouble with archfey is that I like going the extra mile for the archfey because they're meant to be impressive, interesting, unusual, significant, memorable, that sort of thing. Hence why the models for these two are really off the chain. Like, they are probably some of the best looking models I've ever made. Archfey of Desserts, Betty Crocker. Oy. Okay, good. That's not there because we don't have any. We haven't broken any up any tools or items or such yet. So okay. There is an event that is fired when players break items. Pretty sure it's not called player break item event, but let's find out. Nope. Let's see. Eat destroyed. Okay. So what we're looking for is tools and armor. If we say it was blocks, basically anything else that doesn't have a durability that gets used up, it gets really messy. We also, unfortunately, would have a great deal of difficulty saying, here's an item that was destroyed when you died and it popped off your body, that sort of thing. In large part because when you hit Q to throw an item, it sets you as the thrower of that item. That's how you can get the Diamonds to You achievement, because it knows that the diamond was thrown. But if you die and your gubbins just splatter across the floor, that value doesn't get set. So the alternative after that point would be to track the demise of every item in the world and just tag it as being related to the nearest player, at least if they're within a certain radius, especially if they're dead. That's pretty intensive for a feature that might not ever even get used in a given playthrough, and the annoying thing is there is also an owner value, which is separate to the thrower value of item entities, but it's used only by the give command. Fortunately, ownership is not really a huge concept for Minecraft items, so we have to go with the most concrete thing, which is that we broke something. By whatever means. We broke something, or something upon us was broken, might be the best way to describe that. Okay. Events. Get the item. So if broken item is an instance of, can we get their slot? Yes, we can. If broken item.get slot. No, is it part of item armor? Am I thinking of? I know there's a thing for this. Hang on. Armor type. There you are. Entity equipment slot, get equipment slot. There you are. Okay, we don't have that, because that must be, yeah, just part of item armor. Get item. Okay, get the item. We ask for its equipment slot. For most, that's just null. If it's that will tell us if it's armor. The next question is, How do we determine if it's a tool or a weapon? We could try and ask for the tool material. Or we can just ask if it's one of these things, essentially. So why the heck is this here? Item pickaxe, instance of, which extends from item tool. Why not just have it set down there? Exactly. This is already protected. Very odd. Very odd indeed. Tool class doesn't appear to be in this fair. Oh, it's right down here. That's why. Get tool classes does not equal null, then collect the immutable set of tool class, otherwise get tool classes, which itself is part of item. Okay, tool classes dot key set. Okay, remove that. Okay, we might be able to use that to detect a tool. Okay, last question. Item sword? Can we detect this by any means? That is not just asking it for all the other stuff. Not dreadfully. We can detect, evidently, any tool. We can detect any armor. But I think for this we're just gonna have to ask for, is it a sword? I just realized you guys can't see a single thing I'm typing there. You wouldn't assign it anyway? Well, it's nice nonetheless to be able to. Ooh, I should have that be marked dirty as well. Let me add that. Which basically just means it's registered for, hey, stuff has changed, could you make sure that I'm stored properly? And also tell my player I love them. What are you saying I haven't used? Oh, that's fine. Okay. You get the vague gist, but your comprehension of Java is very limited. That is fair. If it weren't for the fact that Minecraft is coded in it, I probably wouldn't know very much about it either, honestly. Okay. Now we can test this by giving ourselves a bunch of very broken items, as in low durability, not the other kind, and seeing if we can entreat for them, and then we get to establish some further caveats. the durability like here? Okay. Durability, negative 141. Yep, that'll do, that'll do. So I will just keep an eye on the log here for seeing if that goes in. Yep, adding broken item, wooden pickaxe. Okay. Hi. You forgot the jaw thing? Oh yeah. I mean, there's also this. Like, occasionally they just straight up turn into a xenomorph. Okay, but we don't have the data on that, so we haven't got the entreat option. Okay. But the good news is, it did get added. That's happening down... That's happening down here. Adding broken item, wooden pickaxe. Good. So, now we need to make sure that the player gets alerted to that so that their GUI can actually understand that they have broken items. Because GUIs happen entirely client-side, whereas everything else, especially the broken items and such thing, happens server-side. Also terrifying, yes. Good to know. We set it to dirty, so it should have echoed about. Unless we didn't set the data. Let's see, where else do we use player data in here? Looks fine. Alright, there's the on-update part. Edit is not equal null. World is not remote, and it's 30, then do that. When does that get called? On ageable update event. Is that why? I wonder. Let's find out. Interesting. Very interesting. Updates on the client and the... So, I wonder why I did that. I'm sure there was a reason, but Lord knows I can't remember it. Well, let's give that another shot and see if it's if it's miraculously fixed itself, and B, if it actually does kick in after a while. Because it might have just been that it wasn't long enough between that happening and that going through. Okay, so that's in my register. Our CR screen continues to look wonderful. Not seeing that there. Interesting. I love the light things following the Kirin. Oh. Nope. 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 Have I possibly programmed that button wrong? treat button enabled if player data, get player data, has broken items. Yeah, it does not seem like it wants to be on. Okay. The NPC just doesn't like you. That would be interesting if upsetting, like, if having a low enough faction rep with the changelings made the witch just not want to give you anything back. Actually, that wouldn't be too bad. Give you a reason to not mess with changelings and lightlings and whatnot. Where does that get called? Is it literally just in the on-update part? World's tick events. Ticks per minute. Okay. Let's see, what do you do in World Tick event and the sync player event? You send the cast level, the list. Okay, I think I see what's going on here. We're not sending the entirety. So we need to send it piecemeal, essentially. When it synchronizes, it's not sending the list of items as well. Because sending the entirety of a actual, like, player data could be hefty. So I need to throw together a packet to do that, which... not too difficult. Let's see, journal data. Yeah, that does trick. Okay, and then just like we read it. Probably worth having a clear as well, just so we don't accidentally end up creating a massive list of them. Okay, and now we do the same thing, more or less, on this side, except we want to actually just be storing them. I don't imagine this will come up much, but it's always handy to have a bidirectional. Actually, this is client only, so that's fine. So now we just need, let's see, packet handler, send to new packets, broken items. We need to actually retrieve that from the data, and then send that to player MP. So let's, where are we looking here? Player data, there we go. Real quick. Okay, we need to tell the packet handler that that packet exists as well. I have so many packets, oh dear lord. I hate networking. Networking is so fiddly and annoying. Okay, so server gets it from the player data as a tag list, then shoots it over to the player, who clears their list and adds anything that's in that list to their list. Okay, that should now mean that our data is synced. So one real quick test just before I go to my last break of the evening to see if that's actually working properly. And if it is, hurrah! We can move on to the final hour and doing some fun stuff. I don't think we'll get to the inventory section. I don't think we'll get to the point of actually like offering your diamond block or your Neverstar or whatever. But there is one little thing, one little detail that I would like to add. Which is not a thing I have ever done before, so it'll be fun if we can get that figured out in an hour. Okay, so give at P. Wooden pickaxe, 300 damage, so we know it'll break. Okay, and my log says nothing because I took the sysouts out. Oh well. We will know if... Still problems. Okay, yeah. Well, go grab yourselves some food, everybody. Be back in about 10 minutes. Right folks, welcome to the final hour of our evening, so let's hope we can get some stuff done. I've added some sysouts here so I will know if this is sent at all, and when it is sent, what it is actually processing. So hopefully, we have an idea of what's going on. If we don't see this at all, we know it's not being sent. If we see it but it's got the wrong information, we know there's something going on with storage data. And if we can get this sorted out sharpish, we'll be doing something I have, I don't think ever under any version ever done. We're trying to add ourselves a new enchantment. So, okay, let's give that another shot. Wooden. Okay, we are seeing, it is being sent out, we can see that in the log here. Wooden pickaxe, 300 damage. And let's find out. Okay. Wait for the next one. Bleep. Goodbye. Come on, we were seeing a fair few a second ago. We ended to like 4 of them. Hello. How are you? No? Come on. Hello? Nope, we just got a bunch and it's not there. So we are receiving the packet, but it's not actually storing the items. There's our problem. Hence, we are always just receiving an empty list. So, question, why are we always receiving an empty list? Are we perhaps clearing them a little too frequently? We clear them when we process that, and then we add the item, so that's fine. We clear them when we get to here, and then we add them, so again, that's fine as well. Is this going to be retained across sessions, or is it meant to restart with each new session? It's world specific, obviously, but yeah, if you break, if like the one item you ever break is like 6 months ago, and you've like been playing for like a couple hours daily, it should still remember that, at least until you reclaim it and they'll take it out the list. So what's going on here? Let's see, add broken item. We do add that, so we mark it dirty. This should all be working fine. Okay, get a little better picture there. So that will tell us if it got added at all, and then it will tell us if anything actually got added to the storage, which is the thing that the packet uses to actually tell us what we've got. We don't really need to know what we've got on the client side. It's just a matter of knowing that we have anything, really. Later on, we can maybe use like that information a bit more usefully, like display the possible items from your entreating with the archfey, for instance. But for right in this moment, we just need to know: is there anything? Okay, so adding item, wooden pickaxe, adding item to storage, wooden pickaxe, processing, broken items packet, no data, evidently. Okay. So the problem comes over here. Let's see if the problem happens when the packet is formed or when it is reconstituted when it gets to the client side. This is the benefit of spamming system outs. You find exactly where the problem is. I should just make myself a command bot to give me this massively broken pickaxe at this point. Okay, packet data does have wooden pickaxe in it, so it's when it's reconstituted. That's the problem. Probably because 8 is for compound tags and not tag lists. But it's a tag list of compounds, so that's fine, I think? Oh, compounds are 10, that's why. Okay, let's try that one more time, and then we can try and get an enchantment going. Because basically, I want there to be a clear, distinct value as to whether or not a given item has been returned from the archfey or not. And the easiest way to do that is to give it a special enchantment that is only appearing that only appears on items that you have gotten through bargaining with the archfey. Or beseeching the archfey. Bargain and entreat are very, very specific terms, I guess, but they mean very much similar the same thing. I will probably change the names of these buttons when we actually get to Lang. Okay, one last time, hopefully. Okay, according to my log, added item wooden pickaxe, added item to storage wooden pickaxe, packet data wooden pickaxe, item list wooden pickaxe, added item wooden pickaxe, has items true. So if we open you up, we can entreat, which means if we then click on you, we get our wooden pickaxe back. With 30 durability as opposed to 1, or negative like 148 or whatever it is. So hurrah! It works! Showing a friend Rudy, and I wish you could see their reaction. I mean, cameras exist. Like, still frame, video, heat, although I don't know why that would be relevant. Was that returned as devoid? Yeah. I was hoping I could make that a little bit more distinct, but oh well, it's fine. Okay, all good there. Alright, so now I want to add a new enchantment. We have none. We've got a list of ones that we could add, but we haven't actually added any at all yet. So I'm just gonna add one here called Fey Touched. I'm guessing there's an enchantment. Yep, there we are, in the init. So that just gets them. Okay, let's bring you off to the side here so I can see that a bit clearer. Now the next question I have is, you go to the registry, okay. Do I then, let's see, that's public, so I can add that, hopefully. But I need a number. ID, key, value. That's irritating. Do I have to do that, or can I just have this list of enchantments? Like this, like, can I just make the enchantment object, I wonder? Or do I have to register it? Who knows? Certainly not me. If you don't know, we're all doomed. It's fine. Figuring it out is most of the fun here. Okay. Rarity. We want this to be very rare. Bordering on unique, in fact. Enchantment type. What does that mean? All armor? I guess we want to say all, or else we won't be able to put it on everything. And then there's slots. So mending is the obvious go-to here. Yeah, just values. Okay. So that gets us that far. There's integers in some of these, which I presume is related to max value, I'm not sure. Sharpness, smite, bane of Alpha are 0, 1, and 2. I guess it's different types? Yeah, damage type in. Okay, that's irrelevant to us for the time being then. So, let's go back to our GUI. In fact, let's grab our broken item. There we go. So we want rewards, I guess. And we'll say enchantment VO Fey Touched level 0. Okay. Return that reward. So hopefully I make the enchantment stack so it's like a running total of how many times you've reclaimed it from them. Up to a limit, yeah. Absolutely, and that might be like a factor in what you get back when depending on what you give them. So, diamond block for anything that has never been received back from the archfey, wither star for or never star for like when it's at tier 1, increasing up. Like that's totally possible. Another possibility is like the more that you get, the more times that like the more stacks of Fey touched an item has, like the more of the tooltip and the item name gets obfuscated. So it's like I'm fairly certain this is the one that has fortune on it. I think, or is it the Silk Switch one? The number of characters Oh, we might... I'm not 100% certain if this will work, but let's find out. I've just had a fort. Oh, hi. How you doing? Okay, it is enchanted. That's a good sign. It is not in my inventory, however. It was a phantom. Did anyone see how much durability it had there? Okay, now it definitely has actual durability. But it is still a phantom because it does not it's not recognizing the actual enchantment. And okay, right. They tricked me. Yes, they turned a paper. They turned a little leaf into my pickaxe. Okay, so we need to do a bit more of that. Ah, which means you do need to register it. Okay. Register ID 701, I guess. Make that percentage chance of happening so you then have to go back and pay more for it. That's a little more complicated. Because I still have to retrieve the item, so it's a question of... I would need to determine if it was going to be a fake item when I asked for it. Okay, hopefully that's all that we need, but otherwise we'll have to get a bit more finicky. Going on there. Okay, yeah. Just doing a quick check to see if there was like a API I was supposed to be using. So now we should actually be able to just apply this from commands. One. Let's go with a bow. Why not? Hi y'all, how you doing? Enchant at P. No such enchantment. Okay. Yeah, we need to get sneakier. There's a thing going on here. I guess because we don't actually ask for that, so public static void init. Hopefully that'll mean it gets called properly.
Player has joined the game.
Welcome, peoples, I guess. Good to know there are peoples watching. And there's a problem. Oh boy, what happened there? Cannot register to a locked registry. Aha. Gotcha. Right. So there is a problem with exactly how we put this in. Next question. How the butts do we put this in? Is there an enchantment registry? Events. Logically, there must be, in which case we can get the registry and add stuff. Theoretically. Ah, boy. Failing that, can anyone think of a 112 mod that actually has enchantments in it? I presume Twilight Forest does, come to think of it, doesn't it? Because if I can't figure this out, then we'll just crib somebody else's work, essentially. Just so we can at least get this done in the next half hour. Let's see, so there are forge registries. Let's see if that gets grabbed anywhere. Let's see, blocks, items. I'm not seeing anything for enchantments. So, let's have a look, see. Let's see, something in here that actually has enchantments. Extra utils must have enchantments. I would be astonished if not. Now the trouble here is, not everything likes to be cracked open. So we gotta go through a bunch of these probably. Let's see, Twilight Forest for 112 perhaps? Nope. Honestly, I kind of wish I knew what did that, because it would be a nice little feature. But I'm very much more of, just let things be where they aren't. Like, if I figure something out, it's logically in my best interests for other people to also know that, or else I'll just get a ton of people asking me the same stuff. Do I have anything else in here? Let's try Famcraft, why not? Failing that, we can check Botania, because that definitely has stuff. Let's see, enchantments. Fusion enchantments, okay. Would help if I knew where that was used. Okay, let's have a look at this. What about that Tinker's thing? What do you mean by Tinker's thing, exactly? There's nothing in there for enchantments, that's annoying. Now it has a Tinker's Construct, is that what you're thinking of? Or Famic Tinker, maybe? Ah... I don't recall. I don't recall, but I can think of something very simplistic that might be what we're looking for. Okay. Look, Rustic will cooperate. Because Rustic is fairly straightforward. Let's see, common. Where did you put your enchantments? That's the question for me. Let's see, nope. 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 Does olive oil not add an enchantment? Nope, just adds a data tag that says oils. Wow. Ah. Next best question. How many mods do you think exist whose sole purpose is to just add more enchantments? Probably a couple? Oh yeah. We're just having a tag like olive oil not work. No, because, well, it'd work for the purpose of just having a name inside the toolbar, inside the tooltip, but we are looking to have a little bit more than that, potentially. Like, at the very least, we need to know exactly how to achieve this, or else we can't add any of the other enchantments in this list. None at all. But anyways, here's one for 112, and hopefully we can read it. Good, we can. It's a mess, I already see, but it's there. Lordy. Okay, so there's that, but where do you actually register these? That's my question. I'm not even actually seeing a main here, which is kind of impressive. There we are. And I can't even read your main, which is presumably where you're adding all these things. There's gotta be a point where these values are referenced. So what if I searched for Advanced Blast Protection as an example? Am I only gonna find that here? Apparently so. Well, all of them have a registered boolean. Set registered is registered. Okay. What calls set registered? I think you should rename it from Fey Touched to Oily. That has a lot of different implications. Can't count how many times you've looked up a food recipe and just gotten food item plus olive oil. Yeah, that's a real problem. There must be... This is registry. Here's all of these. Okay, register as, which goes to the ordered registry, and it calls register as enchantment. Okay, we're getting somewhere. And what do you do? Enchantment is enchantment based. Register enchantments. Okay. Check if it's enabled, yes. Ordered enchant.enchant. Hello, registry event. Bingo! We found it. Huzzah. Okay, so registry.register Fey Touched. Now we just need to recognize this as being an actual bus, so it'll do stuff. Okay. Don't need the init. So currently this will only register Fey Touched, but we can make it do other things down the road. So now we just need to actually set a registry name. Or else we will not be able to apply this ourselves. Okay. Here's to hoping we got this. Or at the very least, it explodes spectacularly. Okay, so enchant at P. Let's have a look. Various oddities, Fey Touched appears in our list. That's good. Selected enchantment can't be added to the target item. Dang it! So close, so close. Okay, how about this diamond helmet? Can't be added to the target item. Okay, why not? That P... Wooden pickaxe. We'll hit it again. Come on, we're so close here. Wait, where'd you... Oh. Hello. Okay. Enchantment, null, enchantment dot level 0. Still goes away. Interesting. Probably because it still registers it as apparently still a false enchantment. So why can we not apply it? This applies specifically to applying at the enchantment table. Even though it can apply item stack, applies for all possible enchantments. Okay. Was it because it gave it a 0? I wonder. Now, there's another funk which I presume is just set name. Here's a question. Does anybody happen to remember if enchantment levels start at 0 or 1? Easy way to find out, I guess. Just give this a 1. I presume they start at actually 1. Min level, yeah, 1. That might be why. Okay. You'd guess one as well. Yeah, but then there's status effects which start at 0. Some parts of Minecraft are written in computer indexing, or array indexing, I should say, which starts at 0. But other parts are written in natural language, which starts at 1. Because why should we have any kind of consistency in this, I guess? Come on, all I'm looking for is Fey Touched 1 in the tooltip. Enchanting succeeded. Enchantment.Fey touched, and I can lift it. It exists. It's in the world. It's an actual thing here. Hurrah, hurrah. Okay, so next step. Give me another really broken pickaxe. Make it a diamond one just for variety. 1, and I'm gonna say 2000 is the correct value. Yes, because you had max 15. Good. Okay, we're really close here. So, we're looking for a diamond pickaxe with Fey Touched written on it. It's enchanted, and enchantment.Fey touched, and if I pick it up, it goes away again. Why does that not go away, but the other thing does? If I pick this up... Ah, okay, it is not because of the enchantment. Right. It's because we're probably just giving it to client side. Okay, right, that is fine. I'm okay with this. So yeah, it's because we're just adding them to the player rather than interacting with the inventory via the container. Okay. Phew. If that was intentional, it'd be a funny fade trick, I imagine. Yeah. But to make that fair, I would have to not actually, like, I would have to not remove it from your list of broken items. Okay. So there's some more tweaks I want to add to this. Obviously we need the item slots inside of the inventory where you put the diamond block or whatever, and then you lose that when you entreat and get your item back. There is also an increasing chance per item entreated that your entire list gets wiped. So it randomly selects what you get, and for each additional attempt you get to get the thing you want, there is less chance of you actually getting anything. So that's another feature I want to add in. So entreating isn't a guarantee. You're not always going to get all your lost stuff, or even necessarily much of any of your lost stuff. You'll be able to get at least one thing, but yeah, you need to bear that in mind. And I don't know exactly how I'm going to work that, because if it's just an in-screen thing, if it's just like you've entreated once or twice, 3 times in this particular window, then if somebody just like exits out the window and starts it again, they can guarantee get their stuff, which is tedious, but still nonetheless defeats the point. Conversely, however, if I say that you are constantly tracked, so you've entreated n number of times, and that's just like always known, then over time, how do I ensure that you always get at least one thing back when you try? So it probably needs to be on like a timer. So like, say, every few days or something, it dips back to zero. It dips back to 0. So if you only go back to the archfey like once or twice a week, then you can get most of your stuff back. It'll just take a while, and that sort of thing. Maybe there's even a point where your list will just forget stuff after a while. Like maybe the memory of your beloved diamond pickaxe with silk touch and mending has faded from your memories, and now even the Fae can't pull it out of there. Which is a nice concept there. The Fae are literally pulling this stuff out of your recollections, which is maybe why it has different durability to what you broke it with. But that is all I have for you tonight. I hope you've enjoyed. I am very happy we managed to get our first enchantment going. Yay! My next stream is on Thursday night at 9. We have some more Monster Hunter World. And then on Friday at 9, with Friday night, we are starting a brand new horror game, as usual. And then on Saturday at 9, we have some Carousel, playing some random games, which might be Among Us, we'll see. And we'll be back for more on Tuesday. Meanwhile, I do make videos over youtube.com/remembercomic, and everything I do is powered by you at patreon.com/lying. Hope you've all enjoyed, and I'll catch you all as ever next time. We did the thing! I'm so happy. Now I can make other enchantments that actually do stuff. Yeah.